Era of easy oil may be coming to an end.
National average for gas of $4 a gallon.
Volatile end to a record week here at NYMEX. A surge in crude oil midweek pushed prices above $135 a barrel for the first time ever.
Filling up is more expensive now than it's ever been.
Gas prices have hit a record high.
Another record high.
A record high.
America is addicted to oil.
We are the world's single largest user of crude oil, and we are also one of the fastest declining producers, right? We used to produce a lot more oil, and even though we're drilling more and more each year, we're actually producing less and less. Peak oil theory basically says that at some point there's a known amount of oil there. There's a definitive amount a finite amount of oil. And at some point when you roughly get through half of that, then it is impossible to continue to increase your production. No matter what you do, you've gotten to a point of diminishing returns on basically drilling for new resources of oil.
What people don't realize is the greatest way to be green is to just to conserve. That is the best way to be green. It's just using less.
So I went from getting 15 miles per gallon to 45. And if that's possible, why, shouldn't we start seeing American-based automakers offering the same kinds of things that Japanese companies were offering?
They're not introducing enough vehicles. I think the demand is there, and car companies would come out with these vehicles that were more efficient. People would buy them. The question is, why don't these large car companies put more of these vehicles on the road?
They already have literally hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars invested in tooling and plants that build engines and so on.
Be more fuel efficient.
And then when you talk about the electrification of the vehicle, hybridization is one thing. Sticking some battery packs under a seat, maybe a little bit in the trunk, and you're still using the same transmission, you're giving it a little boost. That the car companies have finally come around to and have grown comfortable. It says the battery technologies work, it's going to last a long time, it's incremental. We're getting there now. So everyone's beginning to introduce some form of hybridization in their vehicles, not their entire line. I think companies like Toyota were very bold by saying we're going to hybridize our entire vehicle line by, I think, 2010.
So when you put an X unit of energy into an electric motor, it turns into motion at the wheels with more efficiency. So in fact, you're making the overall car more efficient by introducing an electric motor into the mix.
The next evolution of that electrification of the car is the plug-in hybrid, where the car is really an electric vehicle with a backup gasoline or diesel engine that's a range extender.
Well, I think the beauty of it is that you can drive the plug-in hybrid vehicle in pure battery electric mode, plug it inside your garage and charge up for 1/3 to 1/4 the price of gasoline. Now, the key is, where is that energy coming from that you're charging that car? If it's coming from solar or wind power, or maybe even hydroelectric power, it's somewhat green. If it's coming from coal-fired generators, then it's a different issue. But you have to start somewhere. You can't be perfectly green overnight. You have to build up to it.
Electricity plants where they are today, we use a lot of it during the day. People have their air conditioners on, people have their washer dryers going, their TVs, and at night they shut down. So there's a lot of capacity of electricity that's been built up and it's not used at night. And that's the beautiful thing about a plug-in hybrid. Typically people are going to hopefully be plugging them in at night, overnight in their garage. And what they're doing is they're utilizing energy that, the energy has to be generated, but the plants exist. In other words, if you have a 1 megawatt plant and it's generating a megawatt of electricity, or it can use that capacity during the day, it's not doing anything at night. So you utilize the already existing capacity of the world. And so that's why we think plug-in hybrids don't necessarily require you to build more plants for electricity. They'll actually get you to use the ones you have more efficiently.
A key benefit of the electrification of the vehicle as we go from a hybrid to a plug-in hybrid or maybe a pure electric down the road is that we're shifting the energy that's used to move the vehicle in our transportation from the pump at the oil where we're pouring the oil to the plug in the wall where we're charging the vehicle from our utility company. The energy we get from the pump is today about 2/3 imported. The energy we're getting from the wall is domestically generated.
Every single day in the world, we stack up 50,000 miles of oil. It's 238,000 miles of the moon. So you reach the moon every 4 days. Every 4 days. That's a massive enterprise. And to replace that, to consider replacing even a portion of that is a phenomenal enterprise. Probably takes the space shuttle longer than 4 days to reach the moon. So in other words, you're stacking oil faster than the space shuttle can get out of Earth's orbit. That's a lot of oil.
If you realize that some 70% of Americans drive less than 40 or 50 miles a day, it's plausible that the majority of the driving you'll do with a plug-in hybrid, assuming that you plug it in at night in your garage, will primarily be in electric mode, and it's possible that you might drive the whole year on 1 tank of gas. The estimates are that given the various types of driving that one will do with a plug-in hybrid, you can get potentially 100 to 200 miles a gallon at significantly lower emissions. So we're talking about a 5-fold increase of fuel efficiency over current standard hybrid technologies today.
So I had a BMW before. I drove actually just more high-performance, lower mileage cars before this, and decided it was time to switch to a hybrid once they came out. So you're asking me if I'd be willing to spend more to actually buy the car for something that was a plug-in? Well, yeah, I guess if I was ready to buy a new car, yeah, it would be great not to have to buy gas at all.
But today, Fisker Automotive will show you a car, an environmental friendly car, without sacrifices and without compromise. We will also be, in terms of the plug-in hybrid, the first company in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you with the exciting future of the automobile, the Fisker Karma.
The 15,000 vehicles will not make a difference as an overall, but they will make a difference because they will start a trend. They will start a trend showing this is possible, because right now every single automotive manufacturer or car company in the world is saying it's not. Right now this is a new technology, so we have to go into the higher segment. But it'll spread down just like the color television did. When the first people, I remember on my street, the first person bought a color TV, well, everybody else on the street had black and white. But within a year, literally, everybody had a color TV. So new technology moves very fast.
If we don't make the future green, there will be no future. So it's really that simple. And so, in short, everything needs to change. The good news is that creates jobs and revenue and opportunities. And as Paul Hawkins says, in a way, it's a great time to be alive.